Insurance agents from around the world, welcome to the Insurance Guys podcast, hosted by yours truly, Scott Howell, and the incomparable Bradley Flowers. For agents, by agents, we're here to share real-life experiences, tips, and insights related to all aspects of both being an insurance agent and running a successful agency. So sit back, turn up the volume, and let's get down to business. My name is Scott Howell. I am the fearless host of the Insurance Guys podcast, and I am joined today by the incomparable Bradley Flowers. How are you?
I'm great, Scott. How are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great, and I'm proud to be in Mobile, Alabama today. Guys, we have got a special guest with us today, and I am fired up about having him today, too. Our guest today, Mr. Jeff Roberts with Yellowhammer Coffee, located here in Mobile, Alabama. His mobile coffee company has exploded with growth, and I know all of you are thinking, what in the world does a mobile coffee business have anything to do with insurance? Well, I'm about to tell you guys exactly what it has to do with insurance, and I think you're going to be surprised. But, Jeff, thank you so much for being here, brother.
Hey, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man.
Super excited.
Man, I've heard so many nice things about you, and Bradley speaks very highly of you. And I think from strictly a business perspective, don't care what you do, if you're an entrepreneur, and that's kind of the hot buzzword right now in the world, whether you watch Gary Vaynerchuk, our boy Grant Cardone, or any of these other guys.
Or Jeff Roberts.
Or Jeff Roberts, that's right. Jeff, when we get started here, let's talk a little bit about how Yellowhammer Coffee got started. Kind of walk us through that.
Absolutely.
Take us from the early stages.
Yeah, early stages, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I literally think, I was watching all the food trucks come online. We were watching, all of this stuff happen. And I'm not that interested in food. And I worked at Starbucks back in the day, back in college. So I knew coffee. I had a coffee system. And I tell everyone, their coffee's not great. It's okay. Their systems are amazing.
It seems a little inconsistent.
It's highly inconsistent, which is something that everyone really struggles with. Is you'll go there, you'll get a great latte. Next time you go, different barista, completely different drink, know? And so consistency is really, really the key. But man, their systems are still really solid. To push the volume they push, it's unreal, And so I'm kind of watching all this, and I'm kind of a, I have an idea a day kind of guy, And so, man, probably 4 or 5 years ago, I actually think we were at the Greater Gulf State Fair. My wife gets a hot chocolate, which was just garbage, powder, water. Literally took 2 sips and just chunked it, and it just kind of hit me. I was like, man, why can't we get a good hot chocolate? Like, wait, screw hot chocolate. Why can't we get a good latte? None of this makes sense. Like, why hasn't anyone put this on wheels like all of these food truck guys? So that was years ago. I kind of hoped someone else would do it, honestly. I was kind of like, please, one of these food trucks has got to just pivot, right? Like, one of these guys has got to figure out, hey, let's try something different, So I waited, because I knew it was going to take. I knew, I did not want to make the sacrifice. So finally, it was like, okay, if no one's going to do this, I guess I've got to step up to the plate, So, that was literally quit my job, go all in for months before we sold our first cup of coffee, then start selling, and then just cranking. And we haven't looked back since. It's been an incredibly wild ride, but we're having fun, Yeah.
Tell me how you've got this idea.
Yep.
You have kind of a pretty good idea of what's working and what's not, and you understand that business. So how did we initially get funded? How did we initially
great.
How did we get this thing off the ground?
Okay, this is fascinating, especially for an insurance podcast. And I think this is I've never actually spoken about this publicly. Mm-hmm. This is the first time anyone's ever. I don't know. It's funny. A lot of people don't ask about this. A lot of people aren't like, where do you get funded? Do you go to the bank? Did you borrow? It's really interesting. You guys are bringing this up, and literally, this is first time we've ever said this publicly.
Wow.
So the cool thing is, about 5 years before we started, I read this book. You guys are probably familiar. It's by Nelson Nash, I believe, called "Becoming Your Own Bank." I think he's kind of the standard, right? So the cool thing about this Nelson Nash guy is he was like a tree guy, like logging. He was into, so he naturally thinks, in trees, you plant trees and you go whatever. So he naturally would think 30 years out, 50 years out, 70 years out, So he kind of he didn't come up with this concept. He just kind of made it popular. Of this idea of getting a very specific whole life policy. Because I'm clear with people on this. It's funny, dude. I could sell this stuff. Actually, I kind of have. We'll go into that later. So it's a very specific whole life policy. You guys know how to do this. So you overfund it with cash, right? So you just overfund it up to the MEC line, which you guys know what that is, the MEC line. basically what you're doing, you're taking the benefits of a Roth IRA, which is great, right? Grows tax-free, but you can't touch it till you're 60 or 65 or whatever the age is, right? You're basically doing that, but you're under the umbrella of an insurance policy. You guys didn't think I knew this much about insurance, did you, right?
I'm a little surprised.
I'm telling you, like, you guys don't even know the research I did on this. You have the tax benefits, right? But back in the day, the government, everyone was doing this in the 70s, right? Which I like a concepts that aren't brand new. These new concepts that come along and they're like, guess what? You can pay off your debt. Right. You can pay off your debt in 3 weeks. I'm like, y'all, come on, And so everyone was doing this and the government kind of freaked out. And so like, oh, crap, they're getting away with this and we're not getting tax money. So that was when they implemented the MEC line. So basically you overfund the policy, it grows. So it does have a death benefit, right? Because everyone's concerned in insurance about death benefit. But more importantly to me was it actually had a life benefit, which most people don't know. I hear you talking about this all the time, right? So the life benefit is you can use this thing as your own bank. Right. And so that was fascinating. So I'll go into the example with us. I think at the time we'd had about 35 grand built up of money, and this is important, money that you can borrow against, not borrow from. And here's what's important with that is because if you say you have 35 grand, let's use 50, okay, for a round number. Say you have 50 grand in the bank, you've been saving it up, you want to start a business. That's great, right? Yeah, I should probably be looking here. I get so intense, I can't even. Okay. So say you have 50 grand in the bank, right? Well, I borrowed that 50 grand to start my Yellowhammer coffee business. That's amazing. The problem is I've lost the opportunity cost on the 50 grand because the 50 grand just disappeared, right? So it's fine. I mean, it's great, good job. But now I don't have that 50 grand left. And so I don't have the opportunity cost. The thing with these insurance policies is you don't borrow from, you borrow against. So your 50 grand stays there and you borrow against. And so they're like, okay, we're going to hold your 50 grand as collateral. So we have it if you never pay it back, right? But that 50 grand keeps making money. Right. And so this is where it gets weird. You guys ready for this? I know y'all know this. I'm just trying to educate,
Absolutely.
But the crazy thing is, so you borrow against, so that does cost you some interest, but it's okay because that money is still making interest money. So this is where it blows people's minds. You kind of make money when you borrow money, and people cannot understand that concept like at all. Like they're like, wait, what? And I'm like, I'm telling you, because that policy continues to grow and continues to make money. So basically, you either borrow money for free or you actually make money. And then when you act like you're a bank, so I don't say, okay, I borrowed from Jeff Roberts. I say, let's just pretend I borrowed from Hancock Bank or whatever. So I would want to pay back interest on that. So then you pay yourself back interest. And you super make money when you borrow money. You know what I mean? And so that, as long as you don't cross that MEC line, you're okay. And so
at the MEC line, you're okay. You're still making money, but the problem is it's heavily taxed when you pull it out.
Exactly.
That's what the MEC line is.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. You actually can overfund over the MEC?
Yeah, I did one this week.
Oh,
you just have to know that when you pull that out, it's going to be taxed.
So anything over
there's also a and the listeners on the podcast know this, but there's also a penalty. So what happens is when you're above the MEC line, you can't pull it out until you're 59 and a half. It becomes sort of like a 401k or a Roth. So for someone who is planning for retirement, that's you go over the MEC. If you're wanting to pull it out before then, you go under.
I didn't know that.
So my question is, when did you take the insurance policy out? And when you took it out, did you have all of these thoughts, or at that time were you just taking out an insurance policy?
This was crazy.
This is a great American story.
Yeah,
this is awesome.
We're trying. Well, when you shot that thing in Disney World, I'm like, this is crazy. And I didn't know that about Disney. I didn't know Walt Disney did the same thing.
What spurred this on is Walt Disney started Disney World the very same way. Wow. And when I was in Disney World, I was standing at Cinderella's castle and made a video detailing that story. Jeff commented, and I'm like, we got to get him on the podcast. Yeah, that's sort
cool.
of how that's started. So
I love that, man. I didn't know I was going to do coffee. Like I knew I wanted to do something. Because again, I mean, I was like, maybe I'll do an Amazon thing. Maybe I'll do I've tried everything, you know? And so I knew it was going to be something. The crazy thing is, it was almost to the T exactly what we needed to start the business with how much I'd pulled out. So it was probably 6 or 7 years old. The policy was at the time.
So it performed very well.
Yeah, no, it really did. And I'm with Lafayette Light. Like I've had insurance guys look at it and trying to get me to change, and they literally all say the same thing. They're like, dude, this is pretty solid. Like we can't come close to this. So it has performed well, but we've overfunded too. I mean, we've really tried to crank in, some cash into that thing.
It's hard to replace a life insurance policy that's already been in force a few years.
Yep.
Because all of those figures and numbers are going to be based on your age 7 years ago.
Yes, correct.
And anything new you do is going to be based. So that's part of it too. It's not that company is phenomenal. It's just you were 7 years younger.
Yep, exactly. And this is something for your listeners too. Like I really want people to understand this. I promise you, we didn't have the money to do this when we did it. I promise you. Like we were making nothing. And I don't know how we did it. And I was an idiot. You know how stupid I was? I literally got this policy like a week before Christmas, like a moron. So guess who has to pay this insurance policy like a week before Christmas? And I need, you know what I mean? Like I look back, I'm like, what was I? Oh my gosh! But I was so desperate to get it started because I wanted to get it cranking.
Right.
You know, so maybe Merry Christmas to me in like 50 years or something. But you know, but at the time, I mean, it was very difficult to do. So one, like we didn't have the money to do it. But it's weird when you set a goal, somehow you just freaking figure it out. You know, and that's what we did. Secondly, to your point about age, I'm telling you, when you're really smart, and we'll get there, and we're not there yet, you know, because we've got to make this business profitable and actually start making money. But man, if you can pull these things out on your kids, and that's when it gets, talk about that age thing, man, because it's super cheap to insure your kids, and then you overfund the mess out of that thing. And then when your kids are 20, 25, you can say, hey, Johnny, guess what? You have your own bank. Yeah. You know, I should use Jimmy in this example, right? Or Johnny. You know, Johnny will take it.
So what you do is you're the owner, your child, and we do this for I've done this for some people who are in their 70s and 80s who can't qualify for life insurance, but they have a kid that's 50. The 70-year-old is the owner of the policy, so they have all the rights, any tax loss, anything like that is based on them. But their kid is the insured, and then you also make the kid the contingent owner. When the owner of the policy dies, it just automatically transfers. It avoids probate, and they have control over it. So that's the way you set that up.
It's amazing, man. I mean, and I read another book it was a student of Nelson Nash, and I can't remember his name, and I can't, like Dwayne something. And so Nelson's all over the place with his examples. He's like, here's how to run a logging company, and here's this. Here's an airplane example, and you're kind of like, what? You know, but one of his students wrote a book, and it's called, I don't know, Financial Freedom or something. I know. There's tons of these out here,
Tax-Free Retirement is one by Patrick Kelly. Paychecks and Playchecks by Tom Hegna. And then the big one that a lot of people read is by a lady named Janet Yellen, I think. So Pamela Yellen is the lady who's over the Fed. Janet Yellen, no relation, wrote a book called Bank on Yourself.
I've seen that one.
And those are the four that talk about this concept that you're using.
And so I'm going to stop you for 1 second. Bradley, what kind of policy are we talking about here? Is this just a whole...
You're talking about a universal life.
Okay, universal life policy. Okay.
Universal life is a whole life policy that gives you the ability to overfund.
I actually think mine is a whole life.
It may be. It very well may be.
I think. But again, different company. Like I'm not...
Right.
Like I'm not with... You know what I mean?
One company might brand something differently, but everybody listening to this and watching generally knows what you're talking about.
Totally.
Gotcha. So didn't mean to interrupt there, but so you use that money to fund and get this thing off the ground, and then as you got it going, you started, I guess, putting money back.
And we still got a long ways to go. It's crazy, man. People think you print money when you have a long line. I'm like, dude, go start a business and you tell me how it's going.
Especially
it's
something
insane.
in the food
correct.
industry.
Because there's so much upfront cost and capital. It's crazy. I mean, it really is crazy. Like I can't believe how much we bring in gross, and I can't believe how much we don't make.
As someone, I mean, obviously in insurance, we buy products. I mean, I have my brand on all these little, cups and pens and toys and trinkets and fidget spinners is the next thing. And I have air fresheners. And I actually stopped by your truck at the Greater Gulf State Fair last week, and I was on my way home, and I was drinking this cup, and you've got this yellow cup, and you got your logo.
What was it again? You told me
the pumpkin something. Don't make me say it again.
It was a pumpkin pie white mocha.
So I went to a drive-through a couple weeks ago at a coffee shop. It was not Starbucks, and it was mochas. And I said, I want a pumpkin spice latte. And the lady said, excuse me, can you say it again? I said, I want a pumpkin spice latte. She said, can you say it one more time? I said, don't make me say it again. I don't want people to know that's what I'm ordering. But anyway.
Dude, tell them it's your fiance. That's what I tell them. It's just, it's what my fiance really wants.
One's a pumpkin spice and one's a cinnamon dolce. That kind of gets you. But anyway, Yellowhammer coffee is by far, it's phenomenal. It is the best coffee I've ever had, literally. I'm not exaggerating. And I'm a coffee snob. But anyway, so I'm driving back and I'm looking at this cup and I'm like, people have no idea how expensive it is just to have a cup with your logo on it. Like Bradley Flowers, 1,000% starting a coffee company would buy the cups with the little swoosh thing on the side at food fair.
Right.
You know,
right,
like
right.
that's so I have an appreciation for you guys trying to completely holistically brand yourselves.
You know how much we spent on cups? Just a little fun fact. Spent on cups since conception of the business. You want to guess? Give me a guess, just for fun.
$20,000.
Yeah.
You're close, actually.
25.
You're close. You're closer.
Yeah.
30.
Yeah. And
It's
so people,
crazy.
customers don't know.
It's crazy.
That cup that you take
It's just
for
a
granted
cup,
is,
right? You throw it in the garbage can.
But what it does is it helps legitimize you.
It does.
So
Yeah.
anyway, continue.
Well,
I don't even know what we're talking about.
To that point, and I'm going to switch gears on you just a little bit, Jeff. I want to talk a lot today about, and I love that story, and I think everybody that's listening to this as an insurance agent is going to be like, hell to the yes.
Mm-hmm.
But to switch gears just a little bit, let's talk a little bit about guerrilla marketing.
Yeah,
you know,
totally.
you didn't have a ton of money. It's not like you had 2.7 sitting in the bank and could just go out and do whatever.
Yep.
So tell us some of the things that you've done. Sounds like these yellow cups may be part of some of that.
And the Yellowhammer Coffee, if you don't follow them, it's at Yellowham Coffee pretty much everywhere.
Yep.
Does a phenomenal job marketing, and you would think that they have an agency.
It's crazy.
It's this guy, right?
You're looking at the agency.
Yeah, exactly.
See these bloodshot eyeballs right here? You know that headache I was complaining about earlier? I'm just like, oh, we need an agency, but we're not there yet, right? So but man, so we haven't spent a dime. Yeah, haven't spent a dime in marketing. But I mean, you guys know this stuff because you guys watch Gary and you guys watch all these guys. We literally just tried to bring people along on the journey with us.
Right.
So we didn't try to make it perfect. Like, hey, look at this amazing cup of coffee. It's awesome and you want it. I was like, man, forget that. Like, too many people are pushing that, right? So like, let's bring people behind the scenes. Let's bring people, let's bring them along on the journey with us. And I think through that, they'll be connected with us. Mm-hmm. And I think through that, we're going to build loyalty. And through that, ultimately sell coffee. So, I mean, it's almost like our motive wasn't even to sell coffee and still isn't really. I mean, if you look at our stuff, we'll occasionally be like, hey, new drink, come check it out. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it's just documentation. We're just trying to bring people along the process. I feel like I've gotten worse at it too.
You're a marketer that sells coffee.
Right. Yeah. Correct. And I tell people that I'm like y'all, because I have all these food trucks ask me how have you made, like, look at your following, like, how have you done this? And I'm like, okay, guys, take a step back. For one, I've been a digital marketer way before I've been a business person, right? So like, and I tell them the same thing. I'm like, y'all, I can't go make 300, shrimp tacos for people or 500 hamburgers. Like I literally understand marketing first, but I've had to ramp up with my knowledge of running an actual business, and that's a whole nother learning curve, right? So like, it was easy for me to hit the market first, and then I was like, oh crap, we got to deliver with coffee. You know what I mean? So like, so that's kind of been our
the demand, and then you'll be forced to
correct. You figure out how to deliver. I mean, it's crazy. You know.
So give us a couple of examples of things that you've done that you felt like you kind of catapulted you guys to the next level.
Talk about this teacher at Saraland Elementary School.
Yeah.
This is cool.
We had, so just random, right? And we need to do more of this. I feel like I've backed off of this just because we're so buried right now, but I can't. Like I've literally been thinking like, ooh, I'm not doing great on my post.
If you continue to do that, the bigger it'll have a bigger impact.
Yeah, occasionally. But we had so we were serving close to this school, and a teacher drove by one day, and she just took a picture of the trailer on her way back. She was running late, She goes, man, I'm missing Yellowhammer Coffee this morning. Wish I could stop.
Stop right there. What does the trailer look like that she's taking a picture of?
It's a 7x14 black trailer.
But does it have like Yellowhammer?
Oh yeah. It's got all our if you saw our cups,
very recognizable too.
Yeah, you would know it. It's a And so she drove by, took a picture, tagged us in it. So we saw it at the coffee run. So we're ending a coffee run. My wife texts me and says, hey, did you see this person? It'd be really cool if we did this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I just want to I just need a nap. You know what I mean? Because there's always that, like, you got to fight that resistance, right?
Absolutely.
And just everybody. Like,
I've been talking about that all morning.
Yeah. I mean, you just have to push past it. And I was like, man, you know what? This would be a really cool moment.
Right.
So we went back and stalked her page, found when she had ordered some drinks from us before, actually saw the writing on the cup where we write what the drink is, found it, figured it out, and it was kind of a weird drink, like had a specific number of pumps, but like we pieced it all together, made her drink, turned the camera on, go to her classroom, got through the front desk. I don't know how we did that. Went to her classroom and delivered her a cup of coffee, and she was like, "Oh my gosh,
for free,
like, you guys!" Yeah, I mean, just to show up, just to do it.
Now, are you running a camera while you're doing that?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
It's the whole thing. I mean, he saw the whole thing's live, and so. And just thanks again. Thanks for the shout out. We're so glad you missed it this morning. Here's your cup of coffee. She just could not believe it,
And that's a fan for life.
Yeah.
I mean, every time she sees that truck that she's not running late,
she has that memory.
She's going to be buying coffee.
Yep. And she has that memory. And so does everyone else. Like, it's just, so we do stuff like that. We try to do stuff like that all the time. And we even do things that you don't see. Like, we've done hospital visits that you don't see, because I don't want to take someone's, what do I call it, like vulnerable state and like their poor health. I don't want to take that and make that good marketing for me. So like, and you may see it one day. I may come in and serve a whatever, and like, you know, like this whole thing with Aubrey. Like if you're familiar, I know you're not from here. So there's this girl. She's dealing with a sickness right now, and she's 9, right? So like, I've actually done a post to try to put attention on her, but it was to give her movement attention, and it wasn't to like gain followers. And there's a very fine balance. But man, we've done hospital visits. We've done just to show up and say, hey, here's some cup. We know you're in a rough time right now. Here's some coffee. Because man, anytime I go to the hospital, I always go pick up coffee first, right? And so we do a lot of things, and I don't video those purposely because I'm like, you know, I want to video the fun stuff, and I don't want to. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out the balance of that.
So when you do one of these live videos, what's your go-to platform?
Oh
Is
gosh,
it Facebook Live.
I mean, right
Is it
now
Instagram.
I can tell you
we're Instagram Live
where
right
I
now.
discovered you guys at was Instagram.
So we do. I mean, it's back and forth. We do Facebook. We do Instagram. I need to get better on Snapchat. Bradley, help me. Jeez, help me. I literally, dude, I haven't even logged in like months. How embarrassing is that? Can I just confess right now?
Johnny's pointing down.
What? Good, bad?
I bought some Snapchat stock.
It's probably
and
not a bad idea.
got to the point to where I made a little bit of money and I sold it.
Really?
Well, Gary Vaynerchuk says that, and I, you know, he's pretty good soothsayer.
Yeah.
He's like, you know, stock is down, but now's the time to advertise because you can. What is it, CPM or whatever?
I was in an appointment one time and I got a phone call from my CSR, my customer service rep.
Yeah.
And she said, hey, the Wall Street Journal's on the phone. And I'm like, tell them I'm not interested. This was about a year ago. I said, tell them I'm not interested. I thought they were trying to sell me a subscription. Oh, yeah. And she says, because if you've ever had a subscription to the Wall Street Journal and you cancel it, they will hound you.
Oh, wow.
And I said, tell them I'm not interested. And she IM'd me. And she said, they want to talk to you about Snapchat.
Oh, wow.
And I said,
you're like,
I will be one second. So I'm on the phone with the Wall Street Journal. And so basically we did this interview where they were interviewing insurance agents and financial advisors who are using alternative forms of advertising.
Sure.
And where I'm going with this is with the stock is during the interview, I said, well, how many other guys do you have doing this? And she said, as far as we're concerned, you're the number one insurance agent on Snapchat.
Wow,
and I said, can you hold on one second and let me go to my Facebook bio. But what happened is like a week or two later, there was months between when she called me and we actually did the interview.
Right, sure.
They went public.
Wow.
So from then on, every talk has been about how their stock sucks, not how to use the platform.
Right. Yeah, sure.
But no, I think you guys do a phenomenal job on Instagram.
Yeah.
I think Instagram is tailor made to your business because it's a
really
visual
is.
product.
Yep.
The cup is beautiful. The trailer's pretty.
Yep.
You know. But tell us the story. Now this is my favorite one you've done.
Yep.
About the donating blood or the giving.
What did we do
with Ty Bullard?
Oh, the April Fool's joke.
Yes, the April Fool's joke.
Oh my gosh, man. Okay, so I drive a lot. I mean, when you do a trailer, that's
where you get your ideas.
I literally just drive around. I'm either on the phone or I'm in silence. And so I just think. So I was like, man, you know, it'd be funny to do something kind of humorous, right? Like April Fool's, you know, kind of something funny. Where I'm driving and I was like, man, like, you know, those people joke all the time, you know, if you guys had this in an IV, I'd just hook it straight up, you know, like, so I've heard that a lot, you know, so I was like, man, that'd be funny, you know, so then I started thinking about it. I was like, man, I could probably like, I wanted to do a video. I wanted to do a commercial and make it super cheesy, you know, like camera turns on, hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Yellowhammer Coffee. You know, I wanted it to be so freaking cheesy, you know? So, but I know production, like we were talking here, like I know what it takes to pull that off. And I was like, man, I kind of already slipped on the like, really need to do that about a month out because you got to get, it's a ton of shots, it's a ton of editing. It's just, I get it, you know? So I was like, man, if I can't do that, I could at least pull off some pictures. And I was like, man, who's a candidate? I'd actually called a couple other people to try to get them to do it. And they're like, man, I'm busy or I'm not sure. I know that's going to get a lot of views, you know. Joe Bullard, they sponsor our truck. And so I just...
Joe Bullard is a local car dealership.
Probably the highest end car dealership in Mobile.
Yeah,
and they own...
Cadillac, Lincoln,
Jaguar.
Range Rover.
Just got the Ford dealership, which we're driving a Ford. So it's a great move for him because he's like, man, let me highlight a new dealership for us. So, so they're super... Probably the most, I would think. I mean, I think they're not just the highest end, but they probably have the most dealerships.
Probably the most well-known as well.
Definitely the most well-known. Yeah. I mean, everybody knows this name. So I popped down. I was like, man, they sponsor our truck. Like, I just need to figure out how to bring these guys into our conversation more. So I just called Ty. I said, hey, man, I got something funny. He literally, Ty, he don't care. He goes, do whatever. He goes, I'll do anything. He goes, just show up with a camera and just tell me what to do. I'm like, dude.
I like friends like that.
I was like, I could get you in so much hot water. So anyway, so we take this picture. He's got this IV hooked up. I have a nurse friend, got me the thing, you know. So he
works with you.
Yeah,
right?
actually, actually, he just turned in his notice last week or 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like he just like they were like, what? Like here's the thing, in the hospital they were like, are you kidding? Like
turn his nose to the hospital.
Yes.
I thought you meant to you.
No,
to
dude,
the hospital.
no. Turn his nose to the
Wow.
hospital. We're going to bring Mike on full time
Awesome.
full time in January. So everyone at first was like, you're an idiot, and then he said everyone else came back. Like everyone came back and said, dude, you're brilliant. Like this is gonna you're brilliant. And so anyway, it's kind of cool. So Mike gets the ER thing. We do the coffee and the thing, hook it up, take the picture. So we launched this product on April Fool's that it's a brand new product. It's the caffeine IV. People lose their minds. I mean, most people took it the way we wanted. Like they're like, oh, dude, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen. You nailed it. Like, dude, we had a couple comments which are the best. This one lady was like, I can't believe you'd put this idea in people's brains. Like you ought to be ashamed of yourself and whatever. So she just goes on this rant, right? All these people start commenting under. Her name was Peggy, I think. They're like, hey Peggy, try decaf. I mean, dude, they were just like, it was so, we were dying, and I never delete anything.
And it
I'm
looked
like,
super real.
oh, it was legit. I mean,
it
we
was
had we had the tape on him, like we had the whole the band.
The bag had coffee
Like,
in
oh
it.
yeah, and that took a while, by the way. That was a process to figure that out. But so it was just funny. So we just launched that, but it was a really funny way to tie in Joe Bullard, which is tough to do. It's tough to tie a coffee to a car dealership. So it was a fun way to pull him in and make them again part of the conversation, because he got thousands of views and all this stuff, and so it was really fun. And he really
had the
liked it.
Cadillacs in the background.
Yeah, I did that
correct?
on purpose. So when we shot it, I was like, hey, man, I need these cars lined up. So I just made sure the angle was right.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very subtle car marketing wrapped in this really funny story. And even in the write-up, I wrote about how he was working with the dealerships to install the caffeine hooks in the cars, because of what they had seen. It was funny. You'll have to go back and look at it. But yeah, we just do stupid stuff like that, and it's just, we just have fun. I mean, literally, if I'm not having fun doing this, I don't need to be doing this, And I tell our guys that, our baristas, I'm like, y'all, if you don't have fun doing this, that's okay. Mm-hmm. Just let's help you find you something else. That's totally fine, because you can't be on our trailer and not love it.
Right.
Because you can't be there and not love people. You just can't, And I mean, that's what we do. We love people, and we're for people more than before we're making coffee. You know what I mean? And and we're known for that. I mean, go read our reviews, go look at our stuff. I mean, we're really adamant on just the customer experience. I mean, that is where I want to live right there. We're going to make a great product, but it's going to be a killer customer experience, Yeah.
So with this podcast, we talk about marketing in terms of insurance, but really it can go across all industries. So just in general, someone that wants to start marketing in general or on social media, whichever you prefer.
Yep.
Day one, give us a tip what to do to get started.
Just tell your story. Tell your story. I mean, I spend hours on the phone every day with people, and they're like, "Help me! Can you help me? Can you help me get better views?" And I'm like, "Look, just tell your story." And you do a great job. Bradley does a great job, and I'm sure you do too, Scott.
Scott does a phenomenal job.
I'm familiar with him. I'll go follow you after this. But Bradley does a good job of just telling his story, but then also being very helpful. So he's not always right hooking saying, come buy a policy. Right. He's really good at explaining stuff, which makes me hit him up and say, I just got a policy recently, but he helped walk me through the process, And then that hurricane came into the Gulf, and I tried to get a roof policy. He wouldn't sell it to me. I'm just kidding.
30 minutes before it hits.
30 minutes. I was like, dude, I'm pretty sure it's going to hit. Can I still buy that policy?
It's called binding restrictions.
I had probably 7 people call me Friday, Saturday before the one hit down in Florida. And,
yeah. I mean, you can't do anything, right?
I was telling them, I'm like, it would be like me trying to sell an automobile to somebody that I know the engine was 30 minutes away from blowing up in it.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like I can't do that. I think you've actually sat here today, in 20, 30 minutes we've been on this podcast and cracked the code. And what I mean by that is, I think both of you do a spectacular job of partnering with other local businesses that are successful. Yeah. And I think as an insurance agent, guys, I hope you're listening to this right now and you haven't decided to go do something else, because I do think he's cracked the code.
They decided to go start a coffee truck.
Yeah, they're out making.
Hey, have fun.
Yeah,
and Jeff will help you.
Hit me, I will help you.
Yeah, there's somebody in Nevada right now going out to start Yellow Wrench Coffee.
That'd be great, man.
In Nevada,
I'm a fan already. I'm a buyer.
I think Jeff has cracked the code, guys. And let me tell you what I mean by that. If you're able to get out there, use social media, partner with local businesses that are successful. I mean, you go out and you partner with one of the most successful car dealerships probably in the Southeast that's located here locally where you're at.
Yep.
And I think being able to do that and create these comical type videos that people want to watch, that's incredible.
Well,
that's the key.
And you have to educate them, make them laugh, scare them, or make them cry.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
some kind of emotion,
Right.
Some type of emotion.
Now, what Bradley and I would tell you is how jealous we are of you because at least you have a yellow cup with some really delicious coffee in it.
Yeah.
And for he and I, we talk about this all the time.
It's all, yeah.
When I'm done doing this next month and being an insurance agent, I'm going to go sell Mercedes-Benz cars because all I have to do is go get somebody in the car and go,
it's just a product.
What do you think about this?
Yep. Totally.
I was so bad that I had a business that had a tangible product. That you can say, like, I want to start like a liquor store. Something just so I can be like, look,
here
I
it is.
can't say insurance is 15% off today.
Right.
I can't do that. I will go to jail, literally.
Exactly.
So I wish I had that product to and play. It fascinates me. Some of these online retailers, it's like, hey, this product is 50% off today, but they raised the price 75%, and then made it 50% off just to generate that. I love that. Fascinates me.
That's what JCPenney's was doing. You remember when the guy, Ron Johnson, came in? It's like, man, why are we lying to the customer? Let's just keep it even and not lie. And it was horrible. Like people just want to be lied to. 75% off? Yeah, I don't care if you inflated the price 200%. I'm getting a deal, it's crazy.
Well, so is most of your marketing right now being done Guerrilla style through social media? And you're not running 100%. Any ads and paper?
Never bought an ad.
Billboards or anything like that? Is there any?
I probably should.
Is there any traditional advertising that you would do if you had the money to do it right now?
Yes, and I almost worked a deal with Lamar, and then it kind of backed out, kind of got a little weird. This is what I would do. I would utilize these digital billboards in a different way, dude. Like those things you can upload something in 5 minutes, right? So how cool would it be if I could pick a customer of the day and just bam, shoot a picture, tell a quick whatever, and they're on a billboard in 5 minutes. Like they're leaving my coffee trailer, they're driving on the way home, and they see their billboard, right? So there's different ways, man. I'm telling, there's so much power in this. So what I was going to do for Lamar, I was going to work up a digital billboard like marketing strategy. They give me free time. I was going to show everybody how to freaking use these things, and then they kind of got weird, and they're like, "Well, we can't give it to you." And I was like, money. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Like, and I get it. Like, I understand it. Like,
speaking of car dealerships,
people can't do free. I can't do free coffee all the time. We get hit up every single day for stuff. I'm like, yo, like we're a startup. Like we have to have cash flow, and so I understand it.
You do realize there's going to be a business owner, whether it's an insurance agent or just some entrepreneur that's listening to this right now.
Do it.
That just heard that and they were they just ran out of their door right now to go find something to do that with.
I mean, and they should
Lamar's
kill it.
perspective, I mean, how many
every day?
From
it was a big
how many
mistake.
times have they been? But I mean, how many times have they been hit up?
Oh, I know.
And 98 out of 100 hit ups are crap.
Yep.
So,
it was a big mistake for them because I'm telling you, once I show people how to use these differently, they would have had a ton of businesses saying, "Hey, you know what? I think I want to do that digital billboard." And so
So I had 2 billboards for 2 years.
Yeah.
The little community I'm in is Saraland, Alabama, suburb of Mobile. 2 of the 3 best locations in town. Fusakli's has probably what I would say is the number 1, which is a local chicken place. We can talk about that. I know you're
phenomenal,
bullish on,
dude. Oh my gosh.
So literally 0 business that I knew of. Now, obviously, branding purposes, and I still will go into a business and somebody says, "Hey, I saw your billboard."
It's like the fair for me.
Right.
Saw you at the fair.
Saw you at the fair. Yeah. The day the billboards came down, I told the billboard guy, I said, "Save my vinyl," and he's thinking, "Oh, he's going to go to another company." He actually told me that. I said, "No, I'm not, but I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do because you probably won't save the vinyl for me." So I took the vinyl and I cut my head out and put it on a car and went Facebook Live and said, "Your car may be covered by Bradley, but is it covered by Bradley?"
That's hilarious.
And I got more business off of that video than I did those 2 billboards that I paid thousands of dollars a month for. So it's all about taking that old school and making it. And I still have the vinyl,
totally.
so if you want to borrow it, you can.
Dude, I'll put it on the trailer. I don't care.
Absolutely. So give us a couple other examples of what some other stuff that you think that insurance agents or anybody else could do to kind of get your message out without spending a ton of money and $10,000 a month on TV or radio or anything.
And there's a place for spending that money.
There is.
I mean, it's
obviously Fusakli's is doing it. I mean, like you just mentioned them, man. They've got prime spots. And I mean, you go see them, and you're like, "Oh man, I am kind of hungry. You know what? That chicken sandwich, that looks good." You know what I mean? So like, there's a purpose there, or else they wouldn't be doing it. I mean, I think it's tell your story. I think it's be helpful, but I also think it's your intent. People can sniff this stuff out, especially in 2017. People know if you're full of crap, or they know if you really care. And so I don't want to be a guy that's just full of crap, right? So like because we genuinely care, and I think it bleeds through the fabric of all of our marketing. It bleeds through the fabric of our social media. It bleeds through the fabric of our business. It bleeds through the fabric with even even the people that work for us. I mean, I have a lot of people that used to work for us and they don't anymore, and we're super tight with all of them. I mean, all of them, and so because they know I care about them more than what they can do for Yellowhammer or what they can do for Jeff, because I genuinely do, and so I really think if your intent is right, people are attracted to that because there's a lot of fakes, and especially I'm not trying to especially in the insurance business, people feel like they always want to meet, they always want to hang, they always want to talk, they always want to sell me something, right? And so,
right. I mean, I have people I'll call in for a policy review, and they say, "Well, I don't want you to sell me anything." I'm not trying to sell you anything.
Exactly.
But the reason people think that is there are those people out there.
Guys. Yep. Your industry has a bad rap, just like a car sales guy, right? And so, but Bradley's taking a different approach, and I'm sure you have too, because you're obviously doing this. But the different approach is bringing value. His intent's good because he truly wants to help people. And once people see that, their defensiveness is down.
Right.
I'll text him and be like, "Hey, dude, like we were even talking about, I just had a policy change recently, and I was talking to him about it, And so once you build that connection, you build that relationship, you feel comfortable, and you're not going to get hustled by these guys. I just think the sky's the limit,
And the situation with him is I told him he was going to another carrier.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Look, dude, I can quote it for you, but they're great."
Right.
He's a good dude, So that's kind of the approach you have to take. And I always tell people, "Look, bring me what you have, and if I can't offer you something better, I will tell you."
Right.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's on me. It's not on anybody else. If I sell you something that's crappy and it's worse than what you got, that's on me. It's not on anybody else.
Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the honesty matters there because the intent bleeds through with Bradley. That's why I trust him, and that's why I can ask him stuff, even if he's not going to get my business, But anything that he can get my business, I take it to him. Like I could have bought that other house policy or whatever. I don't even know what I bought. I just was like, yeah, whatever. Here's my credit card. That's terrible. So, but I trusted him enough to do that, But he built that up with all the stuff we're talking about. I could see his intent. I could see his marketing. I could see his helpfulness. I was like, you know what, this dude can help me, and he did. And I literally didn't even think about it. I was like, all right, cool, we're good.
So you've got this business. You're gaining altitude. You're using guerrilla marketing, doing some fantastic things there. How do you scale now? How do you go from where you are today to every street corner in America having a Yellowhammer coffee truck sitting on it?
Interesting subject because he just got his second trailer. Right?
Yeah, we actually just scaled, and it's. Dude, we're literally in the middle of growth pains right now. I mean, this morning, just growth pains. Yesterday was a hideously long day for me. I was up at 4. And I went to bed at midnight last night. I can't tell you, I crawled in bed. I was so tired, but it's just growing pains, And so I think your systems have to be solid. The thing I love about, Bradley mentioned Fusaklis, the thing I love about them is because they have grown consistently, but they haven't grown crazy. Even Starbucks grew crazy, 10 years ago. They grew too fast. They scaled too fast. Then they had to fire all these people, shut down all these stores.
Came back and Howard had to take
It was
back
horrible.
over.
Howard had to come back in there and say, "What the heck are you guys doing?" And so they scaled too fast. So I don't want to be the business that's like a flash in the pan.
Right.
Because Fusaklis is not, dude. They stayed with that one store and they just got it right. And they got it consistent. And then they just slowly here's 2. Here's 3, here's 4, and so they just grew so healthy to me. I think it was slow, healthy growth and not just fast, crazy growth that they just couldn't manage, because if our drinks aren't right and our customer experience isn't right, I'll shut it down. I mean, I'll sell this trailer, dude. I'm telling you, I'll sell it in a heartbeat. If I can't do 2, okay, we'll just do 1 and we'll do it right. You know what I mean? And so we're kind of in the process of scaling right now, but that's stuff I think about. I'm like, okay, how can I do 20 of these? You got to have the right people in place. You have to have the right processes in place. It's the balance,
And I think one way, that transfers to insurance is a lot of agents, and you and I have spoken about this. I think we talked about this on the first podcast episode, is a lot of these agents come in and write all this business, but they're doing it the wrong way. And that business is eventually going to fall off, and it's going to hurt you more in the long run than it helped you in the short run.
Right.
And I think what you're speaking to is growing and doing it the right way and having incremental growth as opposed to exploding and then having to backtrack and
backtracking
contract.
is the worst. Yep.
Yeah.
Backtracking is the worst. I'd rather be confident,
I got to ask this question.
Ask it.
So most people in America do not like to be confrontational.
Right.
I even find myself, I'll be in a restaurant and the owner or manager will come up and they'll do the whole, "How's your food?" And the easy thing to do without... food's great, whether it's great or not.
Right,
I mean, it may be okay,
totally.
it may be fair, but you don't want to, look up at the guy or girl and go, "No, it kind of sucks." which I had that happen to me. I was in a chain restaurant last week, and somebody did that, and I didn't want to get into all that.
Right, sure.
So I just gave them the pat answer. So with your coffee, you probably are continuously asking people, how do you like the coffee?
Totally.
Do you feel like you're getting an honest answer? Or do you have to go to people like Bradley and be like, dude, I really need you to be honest about this?
No, we definitely get honest answers. And here's one thing I train all of our people to do is to not be defensive.
Right.
Just don't be defensive, right? Because if you go up to a barista and say, hey, man, this drink's like a little cold, do you mind? The barista can be like, oh, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, sure. Right. I guess we can.
But it's supposed to be that way,
dude. Done. Right. Don't give me that crap. Right. Like none of that. So I literally train let's be non-defensive.
Right.
So you come up, hey man, this drink's a little warm. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Look, we're gonna fix that for you. So it's just an automatic. We parked at a school one time, and I was on this guy's sprinkler systems. The maintenance guy came out and started yelling at me. He was like, "Who gave you permission to park here?" I mean, you want to talk about defensive?
Right.
I mean, I literally was like, "Dude, y'all asked me to be here. Back off," Right. And so I could have taken that approach, but instead, I did what I trained people to do. I was like, "Man, I'm so sorry. You're probably breaking my sprinkler systems." I said, "Man, I'm so sorry." I said, "I want you to know I'll pay for it if I've broken it, but I'll also come up here and help you fix it if I've broken it, dude." Just like that. And I said, "Man, can I get you a coffee? It's on me. I'm so sorry about that." Literally, he backed down. He goes, "Man, I'm sorry." Immediately.
Turned on a dime.
Yeah, just turned on it. But it was being non-defensive. But I had a customer 2 days ago. So we have a different machine in the new trailer. It's a beast. It is freaking fine. It's a Nuova Simonelli. It's a different brand of espresso machine, but this thing's the Cadillac. But we're still learning how to steam it because it's so high powered. Our drinks are steaming. Our milk is going through the roof with foam, right? So I had a customer 2 days ago just mention to me, she goes, she ordered the same drink at our old trailer that she got at the fair. Mm-hmm. She said, "Hey, I almost brought this back at the fair because she goes, it was almost so light. There was nothing in the cup." So that's just our baristas trying to learn the new machine, right? So I was like, "Hey," and she wasn't saying this to get a free drink. She literally was just like, "Hey, I want you to know it was just a little light, I was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry about that." I was like, "Your drink today's on us." And she literally was like, "Oh, you don't have to do that." "No, I just wanted you to know I was like, "No," I was like, "I insist. It's on us." And so that was an example of someone who felt like, okay, here's the deal. They feel like they can give us honest feedback because they know how we're going to respond.
Right.
That. I think that's the key. Mm-hmm. The reason you don't want to say anything to that chain manager is because you don't feel like him saying, "Well, I mean, what did you order? Yeah. I mean, that's how it always tastes." I mean, have you ever had that before? Because then you're just like, "Dude, it's fine. I don't even want to deal with it," right? But if you know that the guy's going to engage in a real conversation and be like, "Dude, how can I make that better? I'm so sorry. Let me give you a gift card, man. Please come back." If you know that that's going to be a great response, even for you, I think you'll ask it. So I feel like we've built this culture where it's okay to say, "Hey, man, I feel like, this drink's a little bit sweeter than it was last time," or whatever, because we're so non-defensive and we're going to make it right, And so anyway.
So, Jeff, I'm going to give you the greatest line in the Scott Howell history of lines, I have a lot of them.
I'm ready.
So it's coming.
Yeah, and Bradley Flowers loves this so much. I think he's going to get it tattooed across his shoulder blades. So we talked a lot today about process. One of the things I do with my agents, and I harp on this constantly all the time, is I tell them when I hire them, I need Paula Deen and sweet tea. I do not need bitchy, snippy, snappy.
And the DMV.
That's it.
Because when people come to our agency or they call our agency either for a quote or for service or for a claim, it can't be like going to the damn DMV.
Right.
Exactly. We're not going to get a driver's license and somebody sitting there going, "Can I help you?" God, So I spend, from a process standpoint, just like you do, a ton of time, energy, and effort trying my dead level best to teach them we need Paula Deen and sweet tea, not bitchy, snippy, snappy. Bradley good, Flowers loves that quote. I think he's probably used that.
The G-rated version of that is, "I need Paula Deen and sweet tea, not the DMV."
Exactly. That is the quote. That is the quote.
I kind of like the original one better.
Yeah. So I get where you're coming from on that, and I think when you do that, like you said about the guy that started screaming at you, when you come back and you're, "Hey, I'll fix this. Here's a cup of coffee." People immediately back off.
Yeah, because you know what? This guy's just a human. He's just trying to get out here and do his thing.
A lot of your food truck people too have that reputation of being very combative. And so he was expecting that, and that guy was looking for that. And so when you went the opposite, he
didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
He was literally like, what do you say to that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, "Oh, you'll come here on the weekend and help me." You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, unless you guys have anything else, I think that wraps up Guerrilla Marketing. Jeff, before I let you go, man, I want to tell you how much I appreciate you being with us today.
Man, thanks for having us.
I've really enjoyed. And before we leave, I want to hear how people can get in touch with you if they want to go buy a fresh cup of coffee tomorrow.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that. How do they get in touch with you?
So we post our schedule every single week on all of our social media platforms. So on Instagram, Facebook, we're at Yellham Coffee, and you'll be able to find us. We also have a texting service, and this has been working phenomenally well for us. I've got about 1,500 people on this thing. So if you text the word hammer, so text the word hammer to 97,000. So send a text to 97000. Text the word hammer, you'll get auto response back from us. It'll automatically kick you on and say, hey, welcome to Yellhammers, blah, 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 right? So I'll actually text you our schedule once a week as well. And people love that because they don't have to go.
I'm one of the 1,500.
Yeah, so they don't have to go looking for it. So like, Facebook, sometimes you're going to see it, sometimes you're not. Same thing with Instagram, even though the rate's a little better, it's 100% on that thing. You know what I mean? So you'll get it, and I'll drop a link. So he knows. You just click on the link and you're like, bam, okay, there it is. If you ever want off, I always give people an out because I hate giving my info away. Right. Text the word stop. It'll automatically just kick you off that system. And so those are two easy ways.
If you don't mind me asking, what system are you using to do texting?
This is great. It's a firm called Clearstream. The URL is getclearstream.com. It's actually two friends of mine founded this company, and they're the smartest people I know.
What do you pay for that? What's it cost?
It's a plan-based thing.
And this is for the texting? This is for the texting?
The number of users.
This is for the texting, yeah. It's a plan. I mean, I think their plans, I think they have a free plan that you can kind of play around with it, I'm on a pretty high level right now because I'm throwing about 5,000 texts a month. I think it's like $100 a month, maybe. To me, it's worth it, though, man.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It is 100% because and here's a cool thing, right? So I have Hammer is a keyword I have set up, but you can set up anything, right? So I actually have another one that's called Spring Hill. So same thing, text the word Spring Hill to 97,000, and then people can opt in when they're at Spring Hill because we go to Spring Hill Hospital quite often. But I could do that for every location, which I've considered. So I mean, I could set it. So you can name it anything: West Mobile, downtown. I mean, you name whatever, right? And so people can opt in and opt out of locations they want because sometimes with food in the food industry, especially mobile business, you have to bypass those HR people, right? Because they're never going to send that email telling everyone that you're out back. So I figured out how to bypass them by doing texting services with certain keywords, But
and texts have 100% open rate.
They do 100% open rate. Everyone's going to get it.
Yeah, we're in a texting world. We're moving towards voice, but right now we're still in the texting revolution.
Yep, totally.
So last question: are you looking for investors?
Not right now.
Okay.
I probably shouldn't shut that conversation down so fast. I just, man.
He's like,
I was like, wait a minute.
Hang on.
I thought we were doing this for like 5. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you both something, and if I say this incorrectly, somebody can do whatever they want to do with it. So this morning I was looking at, I believe it was USA Today. So if you take Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and Warren Buffett, combine their worth right now is at about $264 billion.
Yeah.
That is more than the back 50% of the U.S. population put together.
Wow.
Let that sink in for a second.
Those guys are idiots, dude. None of them have a clue. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, those guys are.
Those guys.
Yeah. I still say, and I hope, I don't know if I'll be proven wrong. I think Jeff Bezos may take over the world.
He may.
It's going to be. I'm not sure that wouldn't be a bad thing.
People are letting him in their house now.
No, it's going to be a fight between. He's going to try to take over the world, and then you're going to have a guy named Elon Musk trying to stop him, and so you're going to see this battle happen. It's going to be crazy. So
exactly, guys, you are listening, and Bradley. Thank you, man. I love you. Thank you for
you too, buddy.
Thank you for letting me be here today, and thank you for being here today.
I told you this was going to be a good episode.
Oh man, this is freaking fantastic.
I love this stuff,
guys. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Scott Howell. Today we talked about guerrilla marketing. As I say every week, rewards come from action, not discussion. You need to get your ass out there today and go sell something for you and your family. You need to write good business and do good work for both the agency that you represent and the companies that you write business for. Again, my name is Scott Howell, the insurance guy, online.com. Have a great week. See you later. Thanks for listening to the Insurance Guys podcast. If you need to know more about me or you need to get in touch with Scott, you can always reach me at theinsuranceguyonline.com or email me at iprotectins@gmail.com. And if you need to get in touch with Mr. Bradley Flowers, go to bradleyflowersinsurance.com or email him at bradley@saralandinsurance.com. Guys, we love you. Thank you so much for listening. We look forward to being with you again real soon on the next episode of The Insurance Guys. Take care.